Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 of this 3-part weekend series where we're going to take a look at all of my rocket slab collection. Originally I was going to do a rockets versus Tyranitar collection, but since I have equal amount of cards almost, this video is just going to be way too long. I ended up breaking it into 3 parts. Tomorrow I will try to film and upload the Tyranitar part. As you can see here in front of us today, we have all of my rocket stuff. I do have my Blastoise out. Had to bring this, make sure it was here for this video today. So I'm going to be going in the order of the set list so you can kind of see where the gaps are and what I don't have and how many variations I have graded for each card art. I do have multiple airs for different arts. I don't have a full set, like every type of air for a specific artwork yet, but I would say I'm pretty close, probably halfway on some of the artworks. But being number 3 in the set, I do have the most important one, I would think, is the water obstruction. Never get tired of looking at that. I also have a printer hickey, which is a repeating air on this card. It is right there under the art box, under the evolution box, inside the art box. I don't know if these change in size, but I have seen at least 2 others. They would not have graded an 8. So happy that I got this. I got this from somebody in our Discord group. Maybe a year or so ago. Pretty happy with the price. I imagine this has went up since. Every time they release like a rocket set or something like that, these cards generally go up. I think Team Rocket Returns has seen gains since this new rocket set has come out, kind of re-sparked the interest in the rocket cards, which in my opinion never should have lost interest. But this one right here is an insufficient ink, and you can tell the difference from the art box around it, the evolution box, the letters, the shell on his back, the blacks in the background. This card is missing a lot of black layer, and it's a pretty common error for this set. You'll pretty much find this on at least every holo in this set. This is one of the only Rockets insufficient inks that I don't have in a 9, so I will try to be upgrading. I'm pretty sure I got this one from my buddy Shocky. I'm pretty sure that he ended up upgrading to a 9 as well from this 8. I believe this was his strong copy and he got a 9 in a recent grading submission. I do like this card having the 8 because all 3 of these are 8s, even though the water bleed is a PSA. Maybe one day I'll have the nerve to crack it and resub it. I do have more Dark Blastoise. I do have some more first editions that are mint, and I also have more unlimited copies. I don't think I have any other air copies, but probably at least 3 more copies that will get graded down the line, ranging from probably a 7 and an 8 to hopefully a 9.5, maybe a 10, maybe a 9. Wouldn't be mad either way at that because the price I paid. And that first edition one that might get a 9 actually came from an old employee from WotC. They used to actually cut up the cards off the sheet, and a buddy of mine ended up helping them liquidate their inventory, and they had a ton of these rocket cards freshly cut. Some had a little damage, some weren't perfect, but I did manage to get most of the mint ones that I could. So I did show this Charizard off previously. I think I've even made a reel of it already. This was something that I recently picked up from one of my buddies. Something that I've looked at for a while. This is a repeating black dot air. I believe this only happens in German. This is a German Dark Charizard with a nice swirl right above the wing. It is a 4.5, but, you know, I don't really know why it got a 4.5. I mean, it's clearly not perfect, but I don't think it's quite that bad. To me, this looks more like an average 6. It did get a 3.5 on the surface, so maybe there's a dent or something that I'm just not seeing. But I also do have one of the other insufficient inks that's in an 8 is this Dark Charizard. Again, this is something I picked up from my buddy Shockey. I ended up getting most of my insufficient inks from him. He happened to just do a really good grading submission, upgraded a bunch of his or had duplicates, and he cut me a really good deal. I ended up picking up most of them. I think this one was the most expensive. Clearly because this Charizard goes for more. And even though this is German, you can see the color difference all the way from the shadow on Charizard to the letters to the art box, evolution box, background. You can't even tell that there's a cliff or ledge right here. But it does make the holo pop a little more, these insufficient inks. So it's pretty cool to see. I do wish that this one had a strong swirl, but can't get everything in one card. Now this card to me is controversial because it was from the WotC employee's house who was cutting up cards for WotC. It was the only one that we deemed could be an air. You can see right there. It does have holo foil coming through, and there's even a flake if I can get it in camera. But there is holo flake showing through that spot. Me and my friend truly believe this to be an insufficient ink. This does not seem like damage. This card is virtually mint. There's some light scratches on the holo, stuff like that, but nothing major that really stands out. Maybe a little bit of edge wear here and there. It's definitely not a perfect card, but I feel like because of this bleed spot, it definitely got knocked down some. To me, this would be about a 7 or so, maybe 6.5. I don't know. I'm not a grading expert, but I don't know. This one might get cracked whenever I crack like my Blastoise and stuff like that. I've been debating on cracking all of my water obstruction bleeds and submitting them together to get sequential certs. Most people don't really care about that type of stuff. I think it would just be a nice little touch. There's the holo flake showing through there now. But I would like to retry this. This card has only been submitted once, and I believe if I submitted it 2 or 3 times total, or even did a mechanical air, it might get the grade, the air designation. But you never really know. With CGC, it's up to their discretion if they give the air or not. It's not like a company standard or anything. If they do have that guidelines, they definitely don't share them. Pretty much leaves us as air collectors guessing what their margins of acceptance will be. I see a lot of cards that should get airs that don't, and then, you know, sometimes it's just a mechanical air, sometimes the grader disagrees, which to me, if a card's an air, it's an air. You know, sure, there's a strength thing, but if you can clearly see that this is an air, it should be counted as an air. It shouldn't be left up to the discretion of a grader. Coming up to these two, this card actually is the lower grade, and it is another water obstruction bleed. Most of the bleeds I have are 8s, which is pretty cool. I think every one of them I have for Rocket is an 8 that is graded. So it would be really cool to regrade these, and hopefully they get all 8s and sequential certs. That'd be a really, really nice touch. This card I actually snagged. I think it was only up for maybe 2 minutes on eBay. I'd hit refresh at the right time. It popped up to the top of the list, and the price was insane. I got this from TCA Gaming. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who that is if you're in this community. He doesn't post air cards like this a lot. From what I remember him saying in a video, is that he had this card for a long time, finally got around to grading it, and just threw it up as a buy now. Luckily for me, he did. Instantly bought it and been super happy to get this one. It is one of the only obstructions I have that does not go from side to side. It's actually placed in the middle. And there is no smaller obstructions anywhere. It is just this one central one, which usually when you see one like this, there'll be a little one, little dots or something, but nothing. It's just that. And this one isn't an air, but it's almost a CGC 10. This came from that WotC employee's house. This is just an example of bulk that they had laying around. Most of these were first edition, and they were popping 9s, 9.5s, 8s, 8.5s. I think 6s were like the lowest grades, and that might either just be from being stored poorly or having a crease or a dent or something that we just didn't see. But always like this artwork. It reminds me of the games when you get to the second gym and Team Rocket uses Dig to go through the house. Pretty sure like most of the artworks are in reference to either the TV show or the games. They all kind of tie in together. But this artwork has always reminded me of that. It's pretty cool. Now, this one is the only pre-release air that I have. It is a pinched layer, and if you look right here, you'll be able to see that this whole layer is wrinkled. The hollow foil actually has a wrinkle in it from being printed. Most of these cards that come out like this that have some sort of wrinkle in them are considered to be water damage. I know I've debated with a few people back and forth. This one, and I do have a base set Italian Zapdos with a pinched layer. It actually has 3 pinched layers going across. To me, this makes more sense being authentic because of the size and how straight it is. When water gets under the layer of a card, it kind of goes all different directions. There was one in question recently where it just came down. It was 2 little creases that came down and kind of made like a U shape. That I could see being more water damage related. It was called a pinched layer. It was not graded, but it's just for sale as a pinched layer. This one though is clearly a pinched layer, and I believe because these were pre-releases, there was less quality control. They were kind of ramping up production. This card was printed way more because there was only a certain number of cards with the pre-release symbol on there. So just higher population, lower quality control, stuff like this is bound to happen. The same reason I feel that my Italian Zapdos is an authentic one too. Foreign countries tend to have lesser QR or QC. This starts our 9s for the insufficient inks. I think the rest of the insufficient inks for the rest of the video will be 9s. I think the Charizard and the Blastoise were the only 2 I had in 8s. I am still missing quite a few, so we'll see. You'll see we went from 3 to 4 to 5, 6, and we're skipping 7. I don't know what card is 7th in the set off the top of my head, but this is the 8th card in the set. So missing 1, 2, and 7 so far if anybody sees any insufficient inks on those, feel free to reach out. I will be trying to complete the set, hopefully this year, but possibly next year. I do have other focuses going on for card collecting right now, mostly the new sets that come out. I try to be first to all the major airs when a new set comes out. Most people don't even know what they have at that time, so you can really get a good deal. This card I'm pretty sure I got from my buddy Inferno Gaming. If you're on Instagram, then you know him. He also has an eBay store and another YouTube channel, fellow YouTuber. Got a really good deal on this. I'm pretty sure it was freshly graded. I've gotten a few CGC 10s from WotC from him. I am also working on a 10 set for Rockets. Not very far, but maybe some more will come my way soon. This is probably the lowest grade for insufficient ink that I have. I totally forgot I had this in a 6. I thought it was like a 7 or 8 at least. But super cheap card at the time. eBay deal, I'm pretty sure. I think it was like 30 or 40 bucks. So you literally can't pass up something like that for that cheap. This one is also a 6, but it is a water obstruction. So this is the third water obstruction that I have for the set. It's probably, no, it's not the most recent, but it's probably the second to most recent that I've gotten. This card was listed on eBay. My buddy ended up buying it instantly because he saw it was listed and the price was probably 1/10 of the market price. He snagged it. I ended up making a really good offer on it, made it worth his while, he made it worth my while, and I was able to add this awesome card. This is the only Dark Machamp that I have. This card is so clean. The hollow is clean, the edges are clean, centering's good. I honestly don't know why it got a 9. Maybe the white dots right here. It's just stuff on the case. Wouldn't be CGC without cardboard dust on your slabs. But super clean card. I might crack this and see if it'll get a 9.5. It's just insanely clean. Probably one of the cleanest Rocket cards I have. I would even say almost cleaner than these 10s. Once again, it just falls back under discretion of the grader. Sometimes I find like stuff like this, they won't give a 10 because it is a qualified error. I don't know if that's, 100% true because it's WotC. I know a lot of Modern gets 10 airs, but a lot of these cards seem to be docked just because they get an error. I know I have quite a few that I feel like just because it's an error definitely didn't get the grade, or I have air cards that didn't get the error but got 10s that are clearly errors. So I go back and forth with them on those. There's like 2 or 3 that I just have not won the battle with. Pretty much gave up. I do have 3 copies now of this. This is a additional yellow ink. Yeah, this one's additional yellow ink. As you can see, it's kind of got a spray paint effect to the hollow. It is very visible in person, even if it's not on the camera. You can really see it right here on the hands and stuff. It just completely blocks out the image. I got this card from another collector in our Discord group. His name's Millennium Rose. He also has a eBay store and an Instagram, I think. He sells a lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff. If I had about double the money that I normally make, I would definitely be cleaning him out. He has that nice of stuff, but honestly, if I started shopping with him, I'd be super broke. This one, I think I've made a reel of recently. This is my most recent water obstruction bleed. I got this from a really good friend of mine. I got maybe 4 water obstruction bleeds from him this year. Definitely added a lot of my favorites. My Giovanni's Machamp is one that's right up here with this one. He also gave me a Giovanni's Persian that will be sent off to grading soon. Card's super mint. It's not a crazy bleed on the Persian. It's mostly in the art box area, but you definitely can see it in the art box and in the hollow background, which is a really nice touch. I think most of mine are in the attack area or just on the side. And for some reason, I don't know why, but most water bleeds start from the left side and go to the right and are usually middle or lower based. I have seen a few that are isolated to this side and to the top, but 80% I would say are bottom, middle, or left to the right side. So I don't know if that's just the way that the sheets are printed or the way it's printed, if it's printed directionally or something, but that is something I have noticed with these. And something else with these rocket bleeds, they only happen on first edition. I have not seen an unlimited one. If I did find an unlimited one, I would definitely buy it instantly because it would be the first one I've ever seen. I have had my Blastoise for over 10 years now, and I've been hunting more, and I finally got up to 5. I do know of 2 dark Charizard bleeds and 2 dark Raichus. My buddy owns both dark Charizards and 1 of the dark Raichu, and another guy in Australia owns the dark Raichu. If you know on eBay, then you've definitely seen the listing for like $6,000 or $7,000 for the water obstruction bleed Raichu. It's just an astronomical price. The seller is not willing to negotiate price. It is a double listing, so he has 2 cards in that listing. I tried to just buy the one or go in with a friend who wanted the other one, but the seller's just so highly priced. It's almost like he's pricing for 10 years in the future. But hey, each their own. Cards are only worth what somebody's willing to pay. I just am not willing to pay that. It's probably more expensive than all of my bleeds together. This one I don't have an air of, but I got this in trade, I want to say from one of my friends, Fire Houndoom. Me and her, we did a big trade not too long ago. I got a Pop 1 Pristine Rocket Zapdos from Gym Challenge. I was really excited about that card. Hopefully we'll be showing that off soon. This one was just, I believe, either thrown in or just added on last minute. Something about this artwork and being from the Rocket set, the background and everything, his card has always reminded me of the TV show where James goes to his house, his mansion, sees his family again. Super nostalgic just looking at this card. It's another one that I just feel runs in tandem with the show. This is one of my last water bleeds. You can see it's only at the top. This is one of the only ones that I have that's at the top. It does go almost from left to right, but it is right side based. You can tell it ran this way or it ran down. Not really too sure. I've been trying to build a sheet mapping location for all of these. It's almost impossible to line up any water obstruction bleeds. I think there's about 20 or so that are publicly known, and none of them really line up perfectly on the sheet location wise. So I want to say at least 3 sheets had this happen. It might be isolated to only one factory. Being first edition, these cards came out so long ago, it's virtually impossible to verify and track them down. But anytime they do pop up, I do snag them if I can. Sometimes I am too late. I missed both those dark charizards that my buddy got. The same buddy I actually bought this from, or we did a trade, I can't really remember. It was like our first deal together, so this will be a card that I hold on to for a long time, unless I either get a higher grade obstruction or a stronger bleed. Even if it's a lesser grade, if it was like 60% of the card, I would definitely sell this one to buy that, or just sell this one after I bought the other one. This brings us to the first secret rare that was ever produced. Something that's really cool about this card, if you grade these with BGS, no matter what, they will label it an error because it says put Raichu on the basic instead of put dark Raichu on it. A lot of people get that confused, thinking that there's an actual error on these. These two, however, are actual errors. I have a super light black layer insufficient ink and a additional ink. And I want to say this one is white layer or yellow layer. Honestly, I'm not too sure because of how strong it is and how much color is on this card. It kind of seems like every color is added additionally. But this one might be the strongest additional ink that I have. For the Dark Slowbro, I definitely have like 3 other copies. They all vary. I think I have a raw copy stronger than that, but I don't think I have any copies stronger than this. I don't really remember who I got this from, but I remember I got it for a really good price. I got both of these probably within 2 weeks of each other or so. So, really happy about that. The only one I'm missing that I really, really want is the water obstruction. Maybe one day one will pop up, or my friend will finally let his go, but he collects water bleeds like I do, so not really holding my breath on that one. Now these 2 cards are the only 2 cards that I have, for one, that are crimps from Rocket that are graded, and they're the only non-holo cards. This one I got from my buddy Dylan. It was the first deal that we ever did. This is one of the blue labels with the 10 sub grade, which if you weren't around, in the collection scene, they did change their labels. They don't do subgrades anymore. This having a 10 and a crimp made me jump on it, and a Blastoise. So I do have a Dark Squirtle that's 2 square corners. I do need to get that graded. I'm also watching currently a Dark Squirtle that's, I want to say it's minor miscut. So I am watching that. Maybe I'll get that one and get it graded as well. But can't ever go wrong with having a 10 sub on an air. This card will stay blue label probably forever. The rest of the blue label cards I will be probably switching over. I'm pretty OCD with labels, so I like all matching labels if I can help it. Obviously stuff like this, I just kind of refrain from paying too much attention to the label. This is how I look at it, and I don't even look at the label because it bothers me that much. I just haven't been able to crack it yet. This one, though, is the only crimp and cut that I've ever seen on a WotC let alone a first edition or rocket card. And you can tell that right here it is cut going up, it is straight flat, and then goes down right there. This is caused from the card sticking out of the pack during the sealing process. So this would have been the heat seal that sealed up the pack. It just indents the card, creates a crimp, and then whenever the packing gets cut and trimmed, the card actually gets cut and trimmed as well. So I don't know how that corner really got cut, because you would think that the crimp should be angled a little bit, but it's not. So maybe it just got snagged on something during that process. This did get an 8, even though there is kind of like a ripple going across right here. You can see it right there. So it is kind of surprising that that got an 8. I definitely would knock for that, but maybe they just count it for part of the cut. You can see on the back it did get cut more. Almost looks like a twisted miscut with how much it got angled. I don't collect too many non-hollow air cards, but for the rocket set I had to make an exception on both of these. I want to say both of these together with shipping and everything, maybe 80 bucks. These were like insanely cheap. I want to say this one I got for less than 20 bucks, which is absurd. It was an auction that nobody bid on. So if you like a certain set, just be hunting the non-hollow airs too. If you're an air collector, you never know what you're gonna find. I saw this card when it first popped up, followed it all the way like 6-7 days through auction, no bids, ended up putting a bid in the last hour and nobody contested it, so ended up getting a fire card. It's almost unheard of nowadays, getting an auction with no competition bids. Now that we went through the whole rocket collection, I'll be showing my rocket bleeds all together. I don't get a chance to put these cards together too much. As you can see, most of these hollow bleeds are going to be right in the middle. Probably within the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks, I will be tracking down all of my hollow bleeds. I have a lot of binders, a lot of boxes of cards and stuff. I will try to get every single one of them and put them in the same video. A bunch of my friends have been doing this and they are kind of pressing me to do the same, which it should be done. Seeing them do it is really cool. I think I might have just a few more than them, so it's a little harder to get everything all together. I want to say I'm up to 17 or 18 bleeds now. I would like to hit 20 by the end of the year, because I would have started with this year with 6 or 8. So I feel like that's pretty good increase just for 1 year. Well, actually only 6 months. We're only 6 months in. But yeah, 6 months, got over 10 bleeds. So it's pretty good. A lot of people like hollow shifts better. To me, I started with hollow bleeds, just regular hollow bleeds. That was the first air card I ever got into. Then I found my Blastoise and then found out about water obstruction bleeds, and ever since then I've been hooked. So to me, these are the best airs. I know a lot of people disagree. A lot of people say, oh, hollow shifts are, you know, way better, more rare. But to me, like, hollow shifts are a registration type of air, or, you know, somebody messed up. This is kind of a production air where water gets in, so maybe the ink ran low, somebody didn't refill it, somebody had put the wrong values in, or something like that. So to me, these just a little bit more rare. Hollow shifts are repeating, where this is kind of incidental per card. But that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Let me know which one is your favorite. Obviously, this one is my favorite, but my backup favorite is this Dark Slowbro. I almost said Slow King. I wish I had a Hollow Bleed Slow King. But this one, having the Rocket Grunt in the background, literally just makes it my favorite. I wish they would use more cameos like this. But let me know down below which one's your favorite, which one you want to see more of. Which one do you think I should try to find next? Let me know if you know of any that are out there. Maybe there's some out there that I'm not aware of. There's a lot of different groups that collect and stuff. If you have any suggestions for any future videos, feel free to drop it down in the description. Maybe we'll do a CGC grade off, kind of guess what grades we'll get, and then I'll send it off and we'll review whenever they come back. We'll do some box openings coming up soon. Try to build some master sets. We'll do some more collection reviews. Got some more mail days coming. Some cool stuff is on the way. But if you like the content so far, I would really appreciate if you liked, comment, subscribed, hit the notification bell. I had a few people tell me that this video yesterday kind of came out of nowhere. They weren't expecting it. So if you don't want to be surprised whenever I throw a new video up, just like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. That way you'll see every video as soon as I get posted. You can also check out my Facebook and Instagram. I'll leave the usernames in the description.